All right, let's talk about something that might surprise a lot of you: vegetables. We always hear that veggies are good for us, and generally, that's true. But did you know that some vegetables, especially when eaten frequently or by people with certain sensitivities, could actually be contributing to joint discomfort and inflammation? If you've been dealing with stiffness, pain in your knees or fingers, or just that overall sluggish feeling, it might be time to take a closer look at what's on your plate. Now, before we go any further, I want to be clear, this is not about demonizing vegetables. This is about understanding how specific compounds in some vegetables may affect certain individuals, especially those dealing with chronic joint pain, autoimmune conditions, or inflammatory issues. And of course, this is not a substitute for personal medical advice. Everyone's body is different, so what we're doing today is digging into some interesting science and nutritional patterns that can empower you to make better choices for your body. Let's start with a group of vegetables that belong to the nightshade family. These include tomatoes, eggplants, and peppers, all very common, very nutritious in many ways, but potentially problematic for certain people. These veggies contain a compound called solanine, which in some cases may exacerbate inflammation, particularly in the joints. Solanine is a natural defense chemical in these plants, and while most people tolerate it just fine, some individuals, especially those with joint conditions like arthritis, may notice more pain or stiffness after eating them regularly. Now, this doesn't mean that everyone needs to avoid nightshades. Many people consume them daily with no issues. But if you're experiencing unexplained joint pain and you eat these veggies often, it might be worth experimenting with a short-term elimination, maybe 2 to 3 weeks, to see if your symptoms improve. That's a simple, safe way to observe how your body responds without jumping to conclusions or making drastic changes. Another group of veggies to be mindful of are those that are high in oxalates like spinach, beets, and Swiss chard. Oxalates are naturally occurring compounds found in many plants, and in large amounts they can contribute to the formation of calcium oxalate crystals, which may build up in the kidneys and, for some people, potentially in the joints. This can lead to discomfort or even increase the risk of kidney stones in susceptible individuals. Again, moderation is key. You don't need to cut these out completely unless advised by a healthcare professional, but rotating your greens and not overloading on high oxalate foods every single day is a smart strategy. Now, here's the good news. There are plenty of vegetables that actually support joint health and give you that boost of energy you're looking for. One of the best categories: dark leafy greens. Think kale, collard greens, bok choy. These are rich in calcium, magnesium, vitamin K, and antioxidants that help fight inflammation and support healthy cartilage and bone structure. These are the types of greens that you can enjoy daily without worrying about oxalates or inflammatory compounds. Cruciferous vegetables are also your friends when it comes to protecting your joints and increasing energy levels. Broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage. These are packed with compounds like sulforaphane, which have been studied for their anti-inflammatory properties. They also support liver detox, which indirectly helps the body manage inflammation and oxidative stress more efficiently. Here's something else to keep in mind: nutrition and energy are deeply connected. When your body is inflamed, it uses up a lot of energy trying to fight that inflammation. That's one reason why people with chronic joint issues often feel drained or fatigued. By choosing vegetables and foods that reduce inflammation rather than aggravate it, you free up your body's resources to be used where they're needed most, like maintaining your energy, mental clarity, and mobility. And the science backs this up. Multiple studies have shown that diets high in antioxidant, rich vegetables, and low in inflammatory triggers can lead to improvements in joint function, reduced pain, and increased energy levels over time. It's not magic, it's just how the body responds when you give it the right tools. So, if you've been struggling with joint stiffness, unexplained fatigue, or even mood dips, take a moment to look at your plate. Maybe you're overdoing it on certain vegetables that your body doesn't love. Try swapping out tomatoes for steamed broccoli or spinach for kale. Add some turmeric and olive oil for an extra anti-inflammatory punch. It doesn't take a total overhaul, just a few smart swaps could make a noticeable difference in how you feel. Listen, food is powerful. The small choices we make each day add up, and when it comes to your joints and energy, those choices matter. So try it out for a week or two and just observe. How's your energy in the morning? Are you waking up less stiff? Are your workouts feeling easier? Use your body as your best feedback tool. And if you found this helpful, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone who's been trying to figure out what's causing their joint discomfort. Sometimes it's not what you're doing wrong, it's just what your body's trying to tell you. Give it the chance to speak, and you might be surprised at how good you can feel again. Certain vegetables may aggravate inflammation in sensitive individuals, even though they're often considered part of a healthy diet. It might seem counterintuitive, but just because a food is natural or plant-based doesn't always mean it works well for every body. We're all biochemically unique, and for some people, especially those dealing with autoimmune conditions, joint pain, or chronic inflammation, certain compounds in vegetables can actually make symptoms worse instead of better. That doesn't mean these vegetables are inherently bad. It simply means that individual sensitivity can change how we respond to them. Take the nightshade family, for example. This includes vegetables like tomatoes, eggplants, peppers, and white potatoes. These foods contain a naturally occurring chemical compound called solanine, which is part of the plant's defense system against pests. While solanine is generally safe in small amounts for most people, some individuals may be more sensitive to it. In these cases, solanine could act as a mild irritant in the body, potentially triggering inflammation, especially in people already managing joint issues like arthritis. This might show up as stiffness, swelling, or lingering discomfort after eating these foods regularly. Again, this doesn't apply to everyone, but the pattern is common enough that researchers and clinicians have taken notice. Another factor to consider is the presence of lectins, another type of naturally occurring compound found in some vegetables, including those in the nightshade group. Lectins can interfere with nutrient absorption in the gut and may cause irritation in people with compromised digestive systems or inflammatory conditions. While the general public might not experience any issues with lectin-containing foods, some people do report noticeable improvements in joint comfort, digestion, and even energy levels when they reduce their intake of these vegetables, even for a short period of time. What's important here is the concept of bio-individuality. Just as some people are sensitive to gluten or dairy, others may not react well to certain vegetables. This doesn't mean these vegetables are toxic or unhealthy in a general sense. It simply means your body might need something different to thrive. If you're someone who's been doing everything right with your diet, eating clean, choosing lots of plants, avoiding processed foods, but you're still feeling stiff, puffy, or low on energy, this could be a clue worth exploring. Temporarily removing certain vegetables from your diet isn't about restriction or fear. It's about curiosity and observation. A short trial of removing specific vegetables, like nightshades, and tracking your symptoms can offer valuable insight into how your body responds. If symptoms improve, it doesn't mean you can never eat those foods again, but it might help you identify patterns and make smarter, more personalized food choices moving forward. Ultimately, inflammation is a complex process influenced by many factors including stress, sleep, gut health, and diet. Vegetables are incredibly important, but so is choosing the right vegetables for your unique biology. If you've been struggling with unexplained joint pain or fatigue, this is one angle worth looking into. Not with fear, but with awareness and empowerment. Your body is always giving you feedback. It's up to us to listen. Bio-individuality matters. Not all bodies react the same, and this is one of the most important concepts to understand when it comes to nutrition, wellness, and even joint health. In a world where diet advice is often packaged in one-size-fits-all solutions, it's easy to forget that our bodies are incredibly unique. What fuels one person might trigger discomfort or inflammation in another. Genetics, environment, gut microbiome diversity, stress levels, lifestyle. And even past dietary habits all influence how your body responds to certain foods, including vegetables that are typically considered healthy. You might have a friend who swears by eating tomatoes every day and feels amazing, while you notice your joints ache or your energy crashes when you eat them consistently. That doesn't mean tomatoes are universally bad or good. It just means your body's response is different. And that's okay. This idea of bio-individuality is not about labeling foods as good or bad. It's about understanding your personal tolerance levels and learning to listen to your body's signals. Our immune systems also play a role here. Some people may have immune systems that are more reactive to certain plant compounds like lectins, oxalates, or solanin, natural chemicals found in foods like spinach, eggplants, or bell peppers. For those individuals, even though these vegetables are nutrient-rich, they may contribute to joint discomfort or digestive upset. For someone else, those same foods could be energy-boosting and anti-inflammatory. That contrast isn't a contradiction. It's bio-individuality in action. We also have to consider the gut-brain immune connection. The state of your digestive system, how well your body breaks down food, how balanced your gut bacteria are, and whether there's any hidden inflammation, all affect how you process and respond to different vegetables. Two people can eat the exact same salad, and one might feel nourished and energized, while the other feels bloated and achy. It's not just the food itself, but the internal environment it enters. This is why dietary trends can sometimes do more harm than good if we follow them blindly. Just because a certain vegetable is trending as a superfood doesn't mean it's right for you right now. Nutrition isn't static. Your needs can change over time, especially if you're dealing with hormonal shifts, aging, healing from illness, or managing chronic inflammation. That's why paying attention to how you feel after eating something is just as important as knowing what vitamins it contains. It's empowering when you realize that the way your body reacts to certain foods is not a flaw. It's feedback. Instead of pushing through symptoms or blaming yourself for not feeling great on a healthy diet, start observing. Notice patterns. Maybe your knees feel better when you swap out nightshades for cruciferous vegetables. Maybe your digestion improves when you rotate your greens instead of eating the same ones daily. That's how you learn what works best for you. Bio-individuality encourages curiosity, not fear. It reminds us that nutrition is deeply personal, and the best approach is one that honors your unique makeup. There's no perfect vegetable or diet that fits everyone. But there is a perfect approach for you. And it starts with listening, experimenting, and being open to making changes based on how your body feels, not just what the headlines say. Oxalates in some vegetables can impact joint and kidney health, especially in individuals who are more sensitive to them or who consume high amounts on a regular basis without proper balance in their diet. Oxalates, also known as oxalic acid, are naturally occurring compounds found in many plant-based foods. They're part of the plant's defense system and are not inherently harmful. But in some cases, they can interfere with mineral absorption and contribute to the formation of crystals in the body. For people who are predisposed to issues like kidney stones or joint discomfort, consistently high intake of oxalate, rich foods may be a contributing factor to their symptoms. Some of the most common high oxalate vegetables include spinach, beets, Swiss chard, and rhubarb. These are often promoted as superfoods because of their rich vitamin and mineral content, and for many people, they can be a healthy part of a balanced diet. But when these foods are consumed in excess, especially if other factors like dehydration, low calcium intake, or poor gut health are also present, oxalates can bind to calcium in the body and form crystals. In the kidneys, this can contribute to the development of kidney stones, which are not only painful, but can become a recurring issue for some individuals. When it comes to joint health, there's also growing interest in how oxalates might affect people who have chronic joint pain, arthritis, or unexplained inflammation. Some individuals report experiencing increased joint stiffness or flare-ups when they consume high oxalate foods frequently. While the scientific evidence is still emerging in this area, anecdotal reports and small observational studies suggests that for certain people, oxalates may accumulate in tissues and potentially irritate joints, especially when detox pathways or kidney function are not optimal. The way your body processes oxalates depends on several factors, including hydration, gut bacteria balance, and the availability of minerals like calcium and magnesium. Certain beneficial bacteria in the gut, such as Oxalobacter formigenes, help break down oxalates and reduce their absorption. But modern diets, antibiotic use, and poor gut health can reduce the presence of these helpful microbes, leading to higher oxalate absorption and greater strain on the kidneys and joints. This is why gut health and overall nutrient balance are so important when consuming oxalate-rich foods. It's also worth noting that oxalates don't act alone. If you're not getting enough calcium from food, oxalates are more likely to bind with free calcium in the bloodstream or tissues, forming crystals that can accumulate in joints or organs. Ironically, avoiding calcium in an effort to protect your bones or kidneys may actually make oxalate issues worse. So it's not just about cutting oxalates. It's about understanding the full nutritional context. You don't need to fear oxalate-containing vegetables or remove them completely from your diet unless advised by a healthcare professional. However, if you're experiencing recurring kidney stones or unexplained joint pain, it might be worth experimenting with a lower oxalate approach for a short period while supporting hydration, mineral balance, and gut health. For example, instead of raw spinach every day, you might rotate in lower oxalate greens like kale, romaine, arugula, or bok choy. Cooking high oxalate vegetables can also help reduce oxalate levels, making them easier on the body. At the end of the day, the goal is balance. Oxalates are not toxic or dangerous in normal amounts, but for some people, especially those with predisposing factors, they can add an extra layer of stress to the kidneys and joints. Paying attention to how your body feels after eating certain vegetables and being mindful of variety and moderation can go a long way in supporting overall health. Your body is always giving you clues. Listening to those signals and adjusting your diet accordingly is one of the most powerful tools you have. Swap inflammatory triggers with joint-friendly, energy-boosting alternatives, and you might be surprised at how much better your body feels, both in terms of joint comfort and overall vitality. The truth is, many of us are consuming foods, even healthy ones, that may be triggering low-grade inflammation without us even realizing it. This kind of chronic, silent inflammation can wear down your joints, drain your energy, and contribute to that sluggish, stiff feeling that's hard to shake. Fortunately, by making a few thoughtful swaps in your vegetable choices, you can reduce the inflammatory load on your body and support better movement, focus, and long-term health. If you've been consuming a lot of high oxalate or nightshade vegetables, like spinach, beets, eggplant, or bell peppers, it might be helpful to rotate them out in favor of alternatives that are more neutral or even anti-inflammatory in nature. For instance, instead of raw spinach every day, you could try incorporating kale, arugula, or bok choy. These greens are packed with calcium, magnesium, vitamin K, and antioxidants, but they tend to be lower in oxalates and easier on the kidneys and joints. Kale, in particular, has been studied for its powerful anti-inflammatory properties and is an excellent source of fiber and chlorophyll, which can support the body's natural detox processes. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and cabbage are also excellent joint-friendly choices. They contain compounds such as sulforaphane and indole-3 carbinol, which may help reduce oxidative stress and inflammation in the body. These vegetables are not only good for your joints, but also support liver function, hormone balance, and energy metabolism. They're incredibly versatile too. Steam them, roast them, add them to soups or smoothies, and they can easily become a daily staple. Another great strategy is to incorporate more root vegetables that are easier on the body and provide steady, clean energy. Think about swapping out white potatoes, which are a nightshade and can be an inflammatory trigger for some, with sweet potatoes, carrots, or turnips. These roots are rich in complex carbohydrates, beta-carotene, and potassium, all of which help fuel your cells without causing blood sugar spikes or joint flare-ups. They're grounding, satisfying, and nourishing to both your body and nervous system. Adding herbs and spices that naturally fight inflammation can also enhance the benefits of your vegetable swaps. Turmeric, ginger, garlic, and rosemary are not only flavorful but are well documented in scientific literature for their role in reducing inflammation. Tossing roasted veggies in turmeric and olive oil, or blending ginger into a green smoothie, can elevate the anti-inflammatory power of your meals while also improving taste. What's important to remember is that these changes don't need to be extreme or restrictive. You're not cutting out food groups. You're simply making more mindful choices about what your body responds best to. It's all about replacing rather than removing. Focusing on abundance and nourishment, not avoidance and fear. Most people find that when they reduce foods that aggravate inflammation and replace them with nutrient-dense, joint-friendly alternatives, their energy starts to rise, brain fog lifts, and daily movements feel easier and lighter. Even small adjustments, like switching from a spinach heavy green juice to one made with kale and cucumber, or replacing nightshade, rich meals with stir, fried bok choy and broccoli, can make a noticeable difference. It's not just about what's bad or good. It's about what feels good in your body. Everyone is different, and your body will tell you when something's working. Listening to those signals and swapping in foods that truly nourish rather than irritate is a smart, science-backed way to support your joints and boost your energy naturally. Include anti-inflammatory, energy-boosting foods in your diet, and you'll be giving your body the foundational support it needs to feel vibrant, clear-headed, and resilient against everyday stress. The foods you eat directly influence inflammation levels, hormone balance, immune function, and energy production. When your meals are filled with nutrient-dense, anti-inflammatory options, your body is better equipped to repair tissue, cushion joints, maintain steady energy, and protect itself from the wear and tear of modern life. One of the most powerful categories of anti-inflammatory foods is leafy greens. These include kale, arugula, collard greens, and bok choy. They're high in vitamins A, C, and K, as well as magnesium and antioxidants that help combat oxidative stress. Eating a variety of these greens can help reduce inflammation in the joints, support detox pathways in the liver, and contribute to long-lasting energy throughout the day. Unlike high oxalate greens like spinach or Swiss chard, these options tend to be gentler on the kidneys and are often better tolerated by individuals with inflammation-related concerns. Another excellent group to incorporate into your diet is fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, sardines, and anchovies. These are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, particularly EPA and DHA, which have been shown in many studies to lower markers of inflammation in the body. Omega-3s not only help protect the joints by reducing stiffness and swelling, but they also support brain function and mood, two key factors in maintaining steady energy levels. For those who follow a plant-based diet, sources like chia seeds, flax seeds, and walnuts also offer omega-3s, although in a slightly different form. Colorful vegetables and fruits, especially those rich in polyphenols and flavonoids, are another essential part of an anti-inflammatory, energy-supportive diet. Berries, especially blueberries and raspberries, are loaded with antioxidants that protect cells and reduce inflammation. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower provide compounds like sulforaphane, which may support joint health and reduce oxidative damage in tissues. Sweet potatoes, rich in beta, carotene, and slow-digesting carbohydrates, offer long-lasting fuel without spiking blood sugar, helping you feel energized without the crash. Don't forget healthy fats like extra virgin olive oil, avocados, and nuts. These fats are not only heart-healthy, but also provide a steady source of fuel for the brain and body. Olive oil in particular contains oleocanthal, a compound that mimics the effects of certain anti-inflammatory medications. When used in cooking or dressings, it supports joint comfort and energy metabolism naturally. Fermented foods such as sauerkraut, kimchi, miso, and unsweetened yogurt for those who tolerate dairy are also incredibly supportive of an anti-inflammatory lifestyle. They help balance the gut microbiome, which is increasingly linked to reduced systemic inflammation and better nutrient absorption. A healthy gut can help you extract more energy from your food and reduce unwanted immune responses triggered by certain ingredients. Hydration also plays a role. Anti-inflammatory eating isn't just about solid food. It includes staying well hydrated with water and herbal teas. Certain teas, like ginger or turmeric tea, carry additional anti-inflammatory benefits and can support digestion and circulation. Finally, spices are an easy way to elevate your meals while supporting joint and energy health. Ginger, turmeric, cinnamon, and garlic are powerful anti-inflammatory agents that also stimulate circulation and digestion. When used regularly, these herbs can enhance flavor and contribute to a steady, vibrant sense of well-being. Adding these foods doesn't mean you have to follow a strict or complicated diet. Instead, think of it as a gradual shift toward choices that help your body function at its best. Over time, this way of eating becomes intuitive and deeply rewarding, not just in how you feel day to day, but in the long-term protection it offers your joints, brain, heart, and overall energy levels. Small, consistent steps matter. With every anti-inflammatory, nutrient-rich meal, you're giving your body what it needs to thrive. Backed by studies, nutrition can influence inflammation and energy levels in significant ways, and this connection is becoming increasingly well documented in scientific literature. What you choose to eat each day doesn't just impact your weight or digestion. It affects how your cells function, how your immune system responds, and how much sustained energy you have throughout the day. Chronic inflammation is now understood as a root cause of many health challenges, including joint pain, fatigue, cardiovascular disease, and even mood disorders. At the same time, the food you eat can either fuel this inflammation or help reduce it, depending on its nutritional profile. Multiple studies have shown that diets high in processed foods, added sugars, refined carbohydrates, and unhealthy fats tend to raise levels of pro-inflammatory markers in the body. These foods can disrupt gut health, lead to blood sugar instability, and increase the production of cytokines, chemical messengers that trigger inflammation. When inflammation becomes chronic, it can begin to damage tissues, including those in your joints, while also impairing mitochondrial function, which is key to producing the energy your body runs on. This can leave you feeling exhausted, achy, and mentally foggy even if you're technically eating enough calories. On the flip side, research shows that anti-inflammatory diets, those rich in vegetables, fruits, healthy fats, lean proteins, and whole foods, can lower these inflammatory markers and support more stable, long-lasting energy. For example, studies on the Mediterranean diet, which emphasizes olive oil, fatty fish, legumes, and leafy greens, have repeatedly shown benefits for reducing joint pain, supporting heart health, and improving energy and cognitive performance. A 2018 review published in Nutrients found that anti-inflammatory diets were associated with significantly lower levels of C-reactive protein CRP, a key indicator of inflammation in the body. Specific nutrients play major roles as well. Omega-3 fatty acids from fish or plant-based sources like flax seeds have been shown to reduce joint stiffness and pain, especially in people with inflammatory conditions. Antioxidants like vitamin C, E, and polyphenols from berries, dark leafy greens, and green tea help protect cells from oxidative stress, which contributes to fatigue and tissue damage. Magnesium found in foods like pumpkin seeds, avocado, and legumes plays a crucial role in energy production and muscle function, and also has a calming effect on the nervous system. Studies also show the importance of gut health in the inflammation-energy equation. A balanced gut microbiome helps regulate immune function and inflammation while also aiding in nutrient absorption. Eating fermented foods and fiber, rich vegetables can support a healthier gut, which in turn helps your body respond more efficiently to the foods you eat. Research in recent years has even linked certain gut bacteria profiles to higher energy levels and better emotional well-being. Even hydration, often overlooked, plays a role in inflammation and energy. When you're dehydrated, the body's ability to transport nutrients and remove waste becomes compromised, which can lead to fatigue and increase inflammatory stress. Staying well hydrated with water, herbal teas, and hydrating fruits and vegetables is an easy but powerful way to support both joint comfort and daily vitality. The bottom line is clear. Modern science strongly supports the idea that what we eat can either feed inflammation or fight it, and that our energy levels are directly influenced by the quality of our nutrition. This doesn't mean you need to follow a perfect diet, but it does highlight the value of being mindful and intentional with your food choices. Over time, small adjustments, like swapping inflammatory foods for anti-inflammatory alternatives and increasing your intake of nutrient-dense options, can yield noticeable improvements in how you feel, move, and function each day. In summary, understanding how certain vegetables and foods affect your body, especially your joints and energy levels, is crucial for long-term health and well-being. Not all foods impact everyone the same way due to bio-individuality, so tuning into your body's unique responses is essential. By identifying and reducing inflammatory triggers like high oxalate and nightshade vegetables, and instead incorporating anti-inflammatory, nutrient-rich, energy-boosting foods, you can support healthier joints and feel more energized throughout your day. Science shows that nutrition plays a powerful role in managing inflammation and boosting energy. And with mindful food choices, you can improve your quality of life naturally. Listening to your body, experimenting with your diet, and prioritizing whole, nourishing foods will set you on a path toward better joint comfort, higher energy, and overall vitality.